This is going to be fun. Let's see how this goes. First time. Just me. No guests. Phil's still away. Actually, he's back. He just got back, but he won't be joining us today in the office. A little bit too hectic of a situation right now for him, but we will be calling him later. So it's a first call podcast. That's going to be pretty exciting. Today, as you can see, the podcast space is looking a little bit differently. If you're watching on YouTube or any of the reels, you'll see we have some things up finally. It's not a blank, insane asylum. That's how you say it. It's not just a white wall behind us. It's kind of looking a little bit better. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. We got some personalized items right now. Phil still hasn't brought his stuff up, so right now it's all mine. We got some of my favorite stuff. Geralt of Rivia. If anybody knows me, I love The Witcher, or I loved The Witcher. The Witcher's kind of been, I don't know. I can talk about that forever. It's going super downhill. The books are great. The game's great. The first season's pretty good. Other than that, I've been pretty upset. But anyways, I can go on this forever. We got Mikasa Ackerman up there from Attack on Titan. Come on. Anybody watches any animes? I mean, I know that's the most basic one, so don't at me. But she's pretty legendary. So had to have her on there. Of course, coffee is for closers because if you don't close, you don't drink. And Babu Frik, the most niche. He has a huge following now, I think. I think Babu Frik may be the star of Star Wars at this point. I think so. I would put him right above Luke and Anakin. It goes Babu, Luke, Anakin tied probably, and then anybody else that you can think of. Maybe Yoda or Mandalorian, something like that. Over there, you might be wondering, why is there a trophy up? I'll tell you why. I am the champion at Elevate in go-kart racing. So we did races back in the day. Phil's the car guy. Crushed him. Everybody else too, just miles ahead. Actually, Simon was beating me, but last lap, I actually overtook him. He took a turn too hard, and you know what? It was the perseverance. I just stayed with it. Slow and steady wins the race, and that's what happened. So that's my trophy. I've had that now for about 2 years, maybe a year and a bit. And it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. A little bit different today. So one of the things I really wanted to touch on is my life. I've been like in that last episode, I spoke with Billy. What was it? A couple episodes ago now, actually, about hobbies. And so I do have many hobbies. I like to do a lot of different things. I keep myself busy, and I get really into things like randomly too. I'll just be scrolling online, and I'll see something that pops my interest, and I'm like, let me do it. This is my new thing. This is my new personality. So right now, I've challenged myself to run a half marathon, big distance. A little bit nervous, but I think I can do it. So backstory of this is last year, me and a couple buddies we were just kind of talking, and all of a sudden there was a run that was coming up. It was a 10K run. It was the Toronto Zoo run. So located at the zoo. I love the zoo. It was a great excuse to get to the zoo and actually do something enjoyable. So, my friends and I could all train for this at the same time. It was actually kind of exciting. I think without them, there's no way I would have done it. We decided to do that, and it went well. We started training months in advance. Then I went away to Greece for a month and gained like 5 pounds and stopped running. So came back. It was like, what was it? End of August. Got injured right away because I tried running and pulled a muscle. A couple of weeks went by, ran that zoo run, and I crushed my personal best. So the high I got off of that was pretty much, you can't compare it to many things, especially now not playing many sports or anything like that. It was actually pretty great. So, some time went by, the winter started, and it got cold, and, I didn't really think I was going to do anything. But then January hit, and right away I was like, this is something that I want to keep doing. I like running. It's very enjoyable for me. So my friends and I, again, discussed it. They're like crazy. My friend Miles and my friend Brad, they're like, let's do a marathon. I'm like, yo, chill. I need some time. To, get into running again. I just did a 10K, which for me was like killing myself to complete. I wasn't ready. I didn't train properly, but this time around, we agreed, okay, let's do a half marathon. So it's in May, early May, I think May 7th, something like that. It's the Toronto Marathon. And it goes from Shepherd and Yonge, all the way down to the Distillery District, across Lakeshore, and it ends close to Ontario Place. So when you think about, that distance on a map, go look at a map and map that out. It is terrifying. I don't really like thinking about that because it makes me really nervous and makes me think like maybe I can do it. Am I in over my head? Probably, but hey, you got to start somewhere, right? So we started training now. I'm super into it. Just trying to run maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Excuse me, and get into things again. Now I'm kind of hitting that 5-6K comfortably every other day, with one long run of about 10 kilometers plus. It's going well. My legs are feeling good. But the one huge issue I have is I have a really wide foot. So my foot doesn't fit into regular shoes at all. And it's super frustrating because I go to the running room, I go to all these different stores, Sport Check, wherever they sell running shoes. I've practically been at this point, and they never have my size in a wide variety of shoes. So they'll have it in like maybe 1 or 2 pairs, but I want to try on 10 because those 1 or 2 pairs usually don't feel good. So what I had to do last week is order 10 different pairs online, have them delivered to my house, try them all on. So I paid for all these, tried them all on. Of course, none of them fit me. So now I have to drive back to the store. I guess I could ship them, but that just seems like another hassle. I don't want to, open up another can of worms, but I'm just going to drive back, drop them all off, say, hey, Merry Christmas. Here are all of your shoes that I do not fit in, and then go from there. So super frustrating, but I did find one pair that kind of fits, just the regular size. I have a 2E, I believe it's called, wide foot. So we'll check that out. I think I ordered that pair, crossing my fingers. I really hope it works because it's very frustrating. I don't want to feel uncomfortable running, but I guess that's the whole point, right? Feel uncomfortable, because running isn't comfortable until it is. Wise words, huh? Yeah. So running's a big part of my life right now. I'm pretty excited to keep it going, run the half marathon with my friends, finish it. That'll be a huge accomplishment for me. It'll show that really anybody can do it, because I always hated running. I actually learned how to slow run at the beginning of this year. So, I can talk about this all day, but there's different heart rate zones to run in, and it's really hard to stay in zone 1 or 2. That's like a very low heartbeat that you can talk to somebody very comfortably, and it's really hard to stay there, because every time you try to, just as a human, you start running and you start pushing yourself, and you get into this zone that's not too hard but not too soft, and you just stay there. And that's not really a great place to be. You either want to be like super slow and comfortable, or you want to be running really fast. I mean, I'm oversimplifying everything, but for me, learning to run slow changed everything, made it very enjoyable now, and makes me want to run more. Maybe a half marathon, maybe a marathon in the future. We'll see. Maybe at the end of the year. Goal would be to run the Greek marathon, to Athens from Marathon. I think that, being Greek, I think that would be pretty awesome. Good story to tell one day, and can cross that off my bucket list. So I don't know, maybe one day. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. So it is just me today. I guess a little bit, an update on how things are going with us and with the real estate market right now. It's been a strange week, maybe 15 days at this point, maybe 2 weeks. I've seen things starting to move. Prices are still pretty stable to what they've been this year. But some properties now are selling for asking price, even having multiple offers. I mean, last week I may have touched on this in another podcast, but there was a property that did sell with 5 offers on the first day it was listed. And you don't really see that often. I haven't seen that in the last, 4 to 6 months, really. There are multiple reasons for that happening. One being that it was priced at a pretty attractive level for what it was. It was, this was a legal triplex in a decent neighborhood, halfway renovated. It was a very unique property. You wouldn't even be able to get conventional financing on it, because it was halfway renovated. There were no kitchens in place. The washrooms, there were washrooms in place, but the kitchens were, in shambles. Everything was, there was, I believe, open permit. There was a lot going against the property. So the low price was enticing because, maybe it was worth the risk at that point, but there ended up being a bidding war on it, and it sold for much higher than I expected. Maybe that's what the market's dictating these days for a property like that, for a big project, but it was pretty interesting to see. So that happened. A couple other properties that I've had my eye on for now. One of them was, a couple of weeks, but one was a few months it's been listed. And I was in talks with the sellers about that one for quite a while, trying to negotiate the price down. And all of a sudden it sold for asking price, which was significantly higher than where we almost had it locked up at. And, it's very strange when something like that happens. It seems like, out of the blue. I guess it's like the perfect storm right now. So the rates just increased last week. And I don't believe that they are expecting the rates to keep going up aggressively, maybe a little bit more. I think the US just increased their rates, which isn't a good sign. It means that we might be increasing again. I'm not sure about that. But overall, the general opinion on the situation is that we're pretty much at the top of where rates are going to go. So in the future, they're probably going to start coming down. And I think people are coming out of hibernation and thinking maybe this is a good time to pull the trigger. I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud here into the camera by myself without anybody. It's a little bit strange, but yeah, we'll see where we're at. I'll keep you guys posted if things start changing. The last 10 days, 15 days, seems like things may be starting to change, but only time will tell. I'll keep you guys posted. Let's go back to something I was talking about earlier. The Witcher. This is a random podcast. We have some real estate, running, and now Witcher conversations. Ugh. Henry Cavill. Is that how you say his last name? Cavill? He's leaving The Witcher. That was announced a couple months ago now at this point. Maybe a month and a half ago. He's obviously the star of the show. He's the face of the franchise. And he thinks that the showrunners are not staying true to what the books and the video games were about. If you watched the series yourself, you can see that as well. The second season was very different. There were a couple of, maybe not main characters, but important characters that were just totally rewritten, and their whole roles and personalities were changed. And, it was very far from staying true to the source material. So that was a little bit triggering for anybody that's a fan. But him leaving, and now this prequel that was released that I have refused to watch. I watched the first 10 minutes of the first episode on an airplane when I went to Quebec over the winter break, which is another really good time. Maybe I'll talk about that a little later. But I watched the first 10 minutes, and honestly, I couldn't stop fast enough. It was so bad. The writing was terrible. The plot line was played out. I was just not having it. And this is coming from someone who is a pretty big Witcher fan. I've read the first 3-4 books. I think I'm on the 4th one now. I played Witcher 3. I enjoyed the first season. I'm decent fan. I can't watch it. It's just so frustrating. I've actually watched maybe 5 or 6 hours of YouTube videos on why it's so bad, but there is one person that for some reason has a different opinion, and I think that's the unpopular opinion. Go look at Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like 15%, something like that. Let's give him a call and see what he thinks. Super unpopular opinion.
Hey.
Hello, you're on the podcast Open House. What's up?
Oh my god. Long time listener, first time caller. I'm glad I finally made it through.
How long have you been saving that line?
Since we figured out the new mixer could do a call-in.
So
like
a month.
Day one.
Yeah. So I've set this up just so you know. First of all, I've been talking for like 15 minutes on my own. This is super weird. But I think it's okay, I guess. I've been rambling. I rambled about running and a little bit about the real estate market and now about The Witcher. So I've set up your call as being the guy who has a super unpopular opinion on the prequel to The Witcher, which is rated the worst show on Netflix. And
No, is it really?
oh yeah.
Like,
I'm pretty sure by far.
Not that bad. I've
It's,
seen some trash TV on Netflix. It's not okay.
so what's your opinion on it?
Um, I, I should preface with like I'm a bit of a whore for new content of all varieties. If it's like a good IP, like there's been garbage Star Wars stuff. I'll gobble it up either way. Same theory with The Witcher. I was never like a book Witcher guy. I barely even played the video games. I just like new content of that IP. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. There was definitely some like character arc stuff that was incredibly annoying. The like the naggy person who you know is just like always gonna be the one to cause the shit, and it's so damn predictable what they're gonna do, and they're just annoying about it. That existed, but like cool Witcher backstory stuff was there. How they first came to be, the convergence whole thing I never really understood until I finished that series. I don't know. I didn't hate it.
I think you said it right there, actually.
Crash until you told me.
No, it makes sense because so I said my background with the Witcher series of having read half of the books now, playing Witcher 3, and kind of knowing the background of these characters and how it works out when you watch it and play, and you're like, this is not close to the source material at all. And it starts going so far from it. I think that's the part that most of the fans are really upset about. And then that, along with exactly what you just said, where it's super predictable. It's kind of like Marvelized at this point, if that makes sense. It's you know what I mean? Like it's like what you said about Star Wars. I have Babu Frik in the background here. It's the same thing. It kind of gets to the point where I want to use the word cheesy, maybe, where you're like, of course that person did this thing. It's very I've seen this in 1,000 shows now.
You can see, I mean, that's half the shit on Netflix too. That's become like an internal game of ours. At the beginning of a series, we just kind of, like between Lauren and I, we'll just guess who's gonna do what at what point.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like with an 80% success rate for the most part, it's like clear as day who's doing what from, episode 1, and like some people's character arcs. There's no surprises, and I don't know shit about The Witcher, but none of it was a surprise. But it was, I don't know, it's still cool. It was all right. It was like any like, you've read the books, the movie's never the same. Like that whole drama, it's never gonna match up to whatever. I just like watching people beat people up on TV, and
that's fair. But the fight scenes were pretty bad too. Come on.
Some of them were okay, sorta. I don't know. Come on. I think you're better than this. I'm not a harsh critic either.
I'm pretty harsh. I've watched 10 minutes of it. I think. Oh yeah, I made it to the part in the first episode where I believe she turns into the queen. She is hooking up with the dumb male lead.
Yeah.
And then I think he gets banished after that, of what I know, because they catch them.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was watching that and I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this lady is. I don't care about this love situation they find themselves in. I don't care that he's getting banished and everything up to that point. I mean, the fact that what was the main character's what was her nickname? The Bard or something?
Oh, the Lark.
The Lark.
I think it's just Bard in older English.
Okay, well, she's singing and then beats somebody up and then goes back casually singing right away.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? Like,
hey, let me stop this bar fight by throwing a couple of knives at people, and I'm gonna go back to singing now.
And yes, everybody loves it.
I'm not anyone special. I'm just someone singing in the corner. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just kicked the crap out of these guys, and now
But I'm a nobody. Don't worry about me.
No one's raising any red flags about that. Come on. It was honestly The Witcher. This is what The Witcher is. This is what The Witcher is supposed to be. Geralt being badass, beating the crap out of monsters and people. All right. Ciri being this super powerful little girl that can't control her powers and needs to be protected by someone like Geralt. And Yennefer, who's one of the most powerful wizards, or Was that the term? Proper term?
I don't know.
Witches,
Witches, wizards,
whatever she is. I'll say wizard, and who has, is kind of like a wild card with her temperament, but has this loyalty to Ciri because Ciri is now like a daughter to her because she can't have daughters because she's a wizard, and she did the whole,
true.
Yeah, so she can't have daughters. Geralt is Geralt, just a badass that has really good morals. He says it in the first season there. He goes, "Evil is evil." I can't remember the quote now. Maybe I'll pop it up here, but it was something like, "Evil is evil, and choosing between one evil and another, I'd rather not choose." Something along the lines of that. He's just
I think I remember that.
He has a moral high ground. He's a good person, and he's like a father figure to now Ciri. So that's what the series is about. But now it's turned into this like whole other thing, which I don't understand where it's going. I think we'll see. You know what? The only way we can really see this is wait until season 3 comes out, see what happens, and why Henry Cavill decided to leave the series.
That's the interesting current curious drama is what sent him off the series, unless I'm hoping
he's coming back
so he can provide full attention to the Warhammer 40K series.
That could be it too. He said it was the source code, the source material. Sorry, he quoted that they're
straying from the source material.
They strayed so far from the source material, and now I think what's happened is that he is now a secondary character, and they're trying to focus it more on the Yennefer, Ciri, and a couple other of the main female leads. They're taking a different approach to it, which is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, except for the fact that I would say a large majority of the fan base of The Witcher are dudes who want to see Geralt beat the crap out of things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. That's why I watch it.
Exactly, that's why I watch it too. It's practically the only reason. I don't care about anything else. I just want to see him do cool things, which I think it's straying away from that. And he's kind of just like, I'm like one of the top movie stars in the world. I should be probably doing something bigger, which is now going to be the Warhammer series. That will be very exciting. We'll see what happens with that.
That's good. We're going to do a whole sub podcast on that.
Yeah, we threw that out.
I'm screwed if that's good. I will also do a whole sub genre on. We'll wait till that's good.
On what?
On Warhammer as a whole. If that is good, it will. I don't know. Interestingly, I think it will drive a lot of traffic to the game that is very much an underground hobby of 20 to 30 somethings across the land.
Let's set this up maybe next week or in the next couple of weeks. Bring in some of your pieces and teach me how to play, or start teaching me. I don't know if it's like a one day 20-minute podcast type of thing to learn, but I want to learn.
Not.
I want to learn. I want to get into the so I mentioned earlier in this podcast, I went to Quebec over the break, and I was shopping at, I think it's called the Eden Center in Montreal, and there was a Warhammer store. It's the first time I've ever seen one. Obviously, I have not looked hard at them, and they're
kind of hard to miss though if you just walk past it. It's kind of a very specific niche.
Oh, of course, the first thing I did was go right in. So that's saying anything. I walked straight in there. My girlfriend's with me, like, oh god. So I'm walking in there. I'm looking around. I'm like, this. I have no clue what this is, but I feel at home. I want to be here.
It's just so cool. I don't know. It's you just talked about The Witcher. It's every young boys nerd genre kind of come to life. That's all. If you look at Age of Sigmar is the Warhammer that's like fantasy era game. That's the name of it. But if you look at that, if that section of the store, it's just more shit that you would see that came out of the Witcher-esque stuff and turned into little plastic models that you need to spend way too much money on and build and paint yourself.
Okay, so then you're gonna teach me about this whole world. I'll do some research after I start learning about it, learn to play the board game, and then maybe I'll paint my own set. Maybe that's something that we can do. How much are we talking about here?
Depends. The average army size that people play with is you somewhere between 500 and $1,000 probably.
Holy crap.
To
Okay. All right. I'll do it. It's fine.
hobby, I'll say. Anyways.
Okay. Well, next week maybe. When do you think you're going to be back so that we can do this in person and it's not just me anymore?
Yeah. We'll be back on for the next recording.
Okay.
Thank God. I've missed it. You've done had too many exciting guests without me.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fun. And now we're dropping reels and they're looking pretty good. Did you see the one I just posted? It's actually probably the best one
they're getting good.
Of the whole. You can tell the camera difference of the old crappy camera we had to the new.
It's crazy.
Nicer camera.
Like, it's actually crazy, the difference. Uh-oh. He went to sleep. It's very crazy, the difference between the two cameras.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you soon. I'm probably going to wrap this up in the next couple minutes. I'll let you go. You sound a little busy. And yeah, sign off.
Sweet.
I guess.
Sounds good. We'll chat about the trip on the next one.
Okay, cool. Talk soon.
All right. Take it easy. Have fun. See you.
Oh, that was kind of cool. First call-in podcast. That was pretty awesome. We went on a ramble. I mean, if anybody even watches this has nothing to do with real estate. And that's kind of what we're trying to do going forward. I think it's just to, as you can see with the decorations here, it's just to have fun and talk about things that we talk about normally anyways and just record it and have fun with it. It's more of a hobby than anything. This is I don't know. I enjoy this. I'm still learning. It's super embarrassing, but whatever. I mean, I'm out there. I'll end it off on that. Thanks for joining me for my first solo podcast. A lot of rambling, but I made it through 30 minutes. Oh my God. I knew I'd talked a lot, but maybe I talked too much. I don't know. Next time I'll see you with Phil. Thanks, guys.